Hello, glad you can join me. It's your trusted host, Justin McDonald, at result results required. At results required. That's my handle for a lot of things. At least it is for Twitter and YouTube and my Facebook page, which I hope anybody that's watching or listening can find. Cool if you can go there. I mean, I don't expect any or everybody that is watching this to go to my page and follow it, but like if you do, that's cool. Um, it helps me out because if you are familiar with how Facebook works, if you still use it as a platform for marketing, um, there's a lot of value you can get from using the platform under your personal profile. However, there's a whole nother world inside of things if you haven't noticed already. And this is where some people might get a little confused too, when it comes to like Facebook pages. And then there's Facebook groups, right? I don't really use Facebook groups. I might sometime, maybe down the road, if it's something that like uh, the audience or subscribers or friends or fans suggest, that we build something, segueing from all this, that where we can all like network and talk about stuff. I'm open to that. Um, and before I get into today's, it's not necessarily a quote because it's actually something that I wrote down as a note, and I think that this is something that anybody can really benefit from. I just want to make sure I'm still going live for a moment because I didn't even really. And I'm going live. Alright. Yeah, this one, like usually I do a quote, but this one's not even really a quote. This one's just like uh, something that I kind of not swiped, but from following some of the teachings and literature of Earl Nightingale, who I recommend looking him up sometime, Earl Nightingale. And also, I would say the best email copywriter and marketer pretty much on the planet, bar none, is Ben Settle. And you can find him at bensettle.com, BENSETTLE.com, and you can get on his email list. And I recommend anybody that's getting in the game for entrepreneurship or copywriting for marketing that wants to see a good example of somebody that demonstrates probably the best um, email marketing is Ben Settle. And he has other people that he likes to call it his players, email players, like club or whatever, his subscribers. And some of them who are also in the game are really good too. And sometimes like he'll kind of affiliate himself with other really top-notch copywriters and marketers, and I recommend you know taking a lesson and just reading some of his emails. Try to see if I can raise this chair up a little bit. I don't know if I'll be able to. Oh wait, here we go. There. Yeah, Ben Settle is really good. I've acquired some of his newsletters. His newsletter is not cheap. He's that's like one of his flagship products is his monthly print paper and ink newsletter that he sends to subscribers. And you don't need to subscribe to his monthly printed newsletter or even buy any of his books to get on his list and get valuable information. Although I do highly recommend that, and that's like your own decision. Once you see who Ben Settle is, I know I'm going on and on about him, you'll see like the magic of how like effective his brand of marketing is, and you can see how having consistency in your messaging is very key. Um, and I mean, his secret to success is daily emails. So now I'll go into, with a very long introduction, right? Now I'll go into what today's kind of lesson is, I guess you can say, which is do the opposite, right? And what I wrote down is that a good way to make money in business is to take a look around at what everyone else is doing and then do the opposite. A good way to make money in business is to take a look around at what everyone else is doing, then do the opposite. And you know what I like to add to that too, actually? Since I gave such a big enough intro for all this, I might as well add to it too. So, like, another key thing too is like in life and in business, you'll see people, they want to zig, right? And what I find is when others are zigging, you can be zagging. But look at what happens. You could still reach the same destination, right? You don't have to do what everybody is doing. So that's the cool thing about that analogy, about when everyone's zigging, you can be zagging. And you're still moving in that forward motion, but you're kind of doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing. It seems to be a very effective marketing tool, actually. Not like a trick, really. It's maybe more of a hack. And I was thinking about a bunch of actually examples of this too before I did this. And I usually will just pick like any random like quote or something that I wrote down on a note, and then just try to elaborate on it, and then like I just immediately do this before my brain talks me out of it. And a bunch of things came to mind when I saw this, because if you think about it, it's like what like makes and creates a lot of different kinds of businesses is when somebody's kind of doing something different or the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Like, even if everybody's buying and collecting a certain thing, well, the opposite of that would be selling it. Well, of course, that would probably be the easiest way to get into a business of something. And sometimes you could just take a look at like what people are doing wrong, and they're having like the same like problems, and these same scenarios keep happening to them, and you can kind of like narrow it down and kind of do that like the opposite. Like, for instance, a lot of people that get into running their own business or wanting to be an entrepreneur, you'll see that they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to make their own business, hours, all that stuff. But if they're already working a regular job and their day's already consumed by all these other activities, you see a lot of people, what do they do when they get out of work? They go to the bar, right? They go to the bar, they go party, they just they kind of just work for the weekend, right? So take that right there for an example. This is probably a good one for anybody in any field, no matter like what age you are or income bracket. Now, if you wanted to go and run your own business, if you wanted to make your own business, if you wanted to start a new thing, whatever it is, well, first of all, I would not tell anybody about it. I'll get into why another time, but just don't even tell anybody about it. Unless, like, there's, like, people along the way that you can, like, recruit as help without totally, like, spilling the beans on your project, by all means. But like when it comes to your friends and family and coworkers, like don't even bother telling them that you're on a pursuit to do something that's just like against the norm, that's crazy, awesome. I know you have a crazy awesome idea. I know you do. And I'm saying you should do it, but like don't wait to do it by like getting permission from others to see if it's okay and like trying to validate your idea before you even do it. I'm going to say right now, 90% of good ideas probably fail right there because um they're like they tell their spouse or their brother, their sister, their best friend, their parents, their kids, whoever. They're like, "I'm going to go do this crazy awesome thing." And they're just like, "Okay." And they just kind of give you like the pat on the back, right? Or like, sure, yeah, okay. And it's really one of those hard lessons that you learn too, but you just have to have thicker skin if you want to be an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying you need to live like some secret life and join some secret society. Probably doesn't hurt though, right? No. But you really do want to contain a lot of your enthusiasm on your idea and just put that energy towards it. And then you can start sharing it because like it's a very fragile phase in trying to get something started, and I hate to see you throw your good idea away by just saying, hey, let's see if like all my friends and family are okay with me writing a book before I do it. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen it on social media. I've seen people like, hey, should I start a newsletter? Should I start playing guitar? Should I like write a poem? It's like, go do it. What if I asked Facebook, the Facebook friends I have now, or whatever, if I asked my like friends from before, or like friends offline, hey, should I go do a Facebook live every day and not get paid for it and basically have like not a humongous following where thousands of people are watching it, and so on and so forth. Like, should I go do it? What do you think most people are gonna say? Especially in like the situations or the situation I get myself in sometimes where money's tight, bills are piling up. I'm over here spending all my time freaking copywriting, writing, studying business and marketing, and helping other people's businesses out, helping other people's funnels out, and all this stuff. So a lot like for free, pretty much. And then like oh, you better go find a 9 to 5. Oh, you better go blah blah blah, and like all these like. Whenever I talk about like what we're talking about right now, or what made you decide to tune in here, like that kind of like business stuff, like running your own business, like your enthusiasm you have for maybe running your own business or being a marketer or a copywriter or just like a coach or a life coach or helping people like with their development skills. If you're just what I mean, if you're out there like just you got this great crazy idea, like I mean really you just gotta go do it. Like if I asked for permission first, or if I cared about like all these small details, I would never do this. I'm literally doing this right now with a light a cool LED light I guess I got from a dollar store like 5 years ago. I mean, you could probably get one for like $5 now. The phone that this is on is literally like a $30 phone. And then like this stand is like rigged up. Um, I don't want to like mess up the camera angle, but I'll show you sometime. The way this is rigged up is with a milk crate, a drum cymbal stand, and a selfie stick I got like 10 years ago. I mean, look how professional I am. And you know what I mean? I got this is my background right here. This easel right here where I write things on. Um, and you know, maybe not everybody in this field is doing this. Maybe not everybody in any field is doing this. Maybe not like everybody on Facebook is doing this. Maybe not everybody on social media is doing this. But what am I doing? Is it a good way to make money in business? I don't know. But what if my future client, what if somebody, my future partner, client, or even future boss, right? What if they are watching this, right? What if they were to watch any of these? Hey, then maybe it was a good way to make money in business, right? But you can't just like always and only be concentrating on the money part. You have to like really go with like kind of what turns you on if you want to succeed. I know I'm not trying to sound like dirty or anything, but I'm just saying like what turns you on as um like what do you do when nobody else is watching? Like what do you want, like what do you want in life when like nobody else is around, you're just by yourself? Like these are the things that you might want to think about when you get stuck and you're like, what should I sell? What should my next product be? What should I go in the business of? What do I really want? Like what do I really want to do that's different? Like just think about those things that you do when nobody else is around. Like what are you thinking about? Like what are you know what I mean? Like maybe you're like trying to find a new hobby, or like you're trying to discover what are my hobbies? Maybe you're working all the time, right? I know what that's like, and you're like, I don't even know what my hobbies are anymore. Trust me, you have some. And or you did. And you just want to tap into like like what it, you know what I mean, the why and stuff like that. That's what's helped me out too. Um yeah, like so even if you like see like a lot of newer businesses that came out in the last like 20 years or so, or have that and gotten bigger, like Amazon or like Uber, um, like all the like Airbnb. Like think about when they got their start. They were kind of doing something. They were going like against the grain, but they were like, you know what I mean? They were zagging when everyone was zigging. That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm sure you get the point. Awkward silence. I mean, there's just so many ways we can break this one down too. Um, Also, you know what? I'm gonna say the opposite of this. I got a book I'm putting together, and I'm kind of asking people that are watching or listening to this too, like, what are some of the questions that you have about business? Um, and maybe these are some things I might want to include in future Facebook Lives, or maybe even a chapter or two in a book. Like, what is it that you're struggling with? Like, what's the one or two or three things that are like preventing you from whatever success you're trying to get? Like, what are those roadblocks? Is it traffic? Is it followers? Is it um, what is it? You know, because answering those questions not only will help you, but it'll help me like grow and like also be like more well rounded in this niche too. So Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean either one. It's like take a look around at what everyone else is doing and then do the opposite. Like you don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel either. That's something that I was like also kind of like I kept getting stopped like stumped at it a little bit. Like as I was like thinking about this is like there is like a threshold too. Like you want to be like prolific. You don't want to be like too crazy, right? That's why I like believe in dreaming realistically. Like you got to think about like that prolific index, right? Like the prolific index being like, you got like crazy, right? And then you got like normal, like what you learn in school, right? So like you want to be like right here, right? From like crazy, um, like just like you're an individual, you're different, you're unique, crazy, unique individual, right? You want like a balance between that and just like the norm, like what everybody else is doing, kind of thing, what everybody else already knows. So you're just like more taking what it is that you're already studying and already promoting and already selling and just kind of making it relevant and relatable. Um, like think about even like an artist, like a musician, um, Elvis, for example. Elvis is a good example of somebody who was prolific because like at that time it was like he made like a breakthrough with like the way people were dancing and all this stuff. And what he was like doing was like it was like new and hip and different and all these things. It was this like crazy idea, but it wasn't like so crazy like Charles Manson crazy or Jeffrey Dahmer crazy, right? Like he was crazy in like a different kind of fun way where like mom and dad, the grandkids, the grandparents could all kind of jump in and do a funny little dance or something. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm just saying like um being prolific is definitely like where I think all the money is being made in business. And like being prolific is kind of like zagging when everybody's zigging, right? Um, we're all going in the same direction, but you're like I'm gonna go this other way. Like I'm gonna take this back road that runs parallel. You know what I mean? Like I like taking back roads. I don't know about you. Like I like going the road that's kind of less traveled. But I also like will go on the road less traveled with like a little bit of common sense, right? And like a map or a guide, like just like a built-in GPS in my head almost. Like I'm going this way. I know like from stories or from other people or from like experience, I know if I go down this way, it might take like an extra couple minutes. It might be more potholes, more obstacles. It might be a bumpier road, but I'm like, I want to go on this road less traveled because it's just I don't know. It feels better to me. I don't know what it is too. It's like sometimes when you do something like that, it just feels better too. That's why I wrote it down. That's why I know that is both Ben Settle and Earl Nightingale that said that too. Like, I mean, take a look when you're stumped and you're trying to find something new. Like, look around you. Look what everybody's doing. Do the opposite. You know, it doesn't mean do anything like negative and crazy, right? Necessarily, um, like crazy, yeah, but don't do anything like destructive to the planet or yourself or people. That's just something you don't want to do. So yeah, take that and find your own way of looking at this one too. Like look at what other businesses in your niche are doing. Look at what other people are doing. Look at what people are doing where they're like complaining all the time and they're like not taking action. There you go. You can be the one that takes action. You could be the one that doesn't complain and takes action instead of the person that complains and doesn't take action. See what I mean? There's so many ways you can just look at common failures, common things that people are complaining about, And then that's where sometimes if you just have an open mind, you can just kind of like, do that whole zigzagging thing like I was just saying. So thank you very much for listening and watching today. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I'll have more for you next time. Have a lovely day. Peace.